Everyone seems to be shouting from the rooftops about Donald Trump's vice presidential pick, JD Vance, as well as his connections to Peter Thiel and Palantir for it being a major catalyst for the stock maybe in the future. Now, warning, this video is coming from a Palantir investor perspective, so you can have whatever political take on him as the pick, Vance's past and stuff like that, as well as if he's good or bad choice. But the scope of this video is really focused in relation to Palantir and my thoughts on it. Well, for some background first, JD Vance started his official working relationship with Peter Thiel, joining his investment firm Mithril Capital. And if this sounds familiar, whenever we get some Peter Thiel sales on Palantir shares, it comes from a variety of these holding companies with some combination of Mithril in the name. But after his stint at Mithril, Vance started his own venture capital firm, Narya Capital, which has gotten some money flow from Thiel. So this is where JD's VC fund has invested in some tech startups, with one notable company being called Chapter, and that's a Medicare advisory firm, which also can be a huge win for them as well as a company, considering Medicare is from the US government. But to either way, that's to where it connects to Palantir, is that they actually use their products mentioned here on this press release from a while back. So there's a clear connection, especially with a lot of money playing in the background from Peter Thiel at all angles. And it would be obvious to Vance that he knows Peter has a large stake in Palantir, but may even have some familiarity with their existing work with the US government today too. Now, I'm not insinuating any underhanded deals or anything will happen in favor of Palantir because of his future vice presidency. What my first raw thoughts, though, are still wait and see, of course, but JD Vance has, of course, lots of priorities not only to himself, but also to the position he's going to be in now, being a VP pick for Donald Trump, meaning there's always a give and take there. But then we add Peter Thiel into mix too, who was an outspoken supporter during the 2016 election for Trump, although it cooled down a bit from the last election cycle. But it seems to be putting Peter Thiel back under the attention again right now. So in relation to Palantir, I think this is good to first have someone at such a high point in the US government, although arguably powerless as VP, but nonetheless still symbolic and good to just have someone who at very least knows about Palantir and what they do considering their work with Chapter. Plus B, having that known relationship already with Palantir and the USG, having that one more strengthening connection. It's all fine and dandy to be actually valuable and get the end users on board, but we know with the government, if you can get buy-in from both sides at the top and the bottom, then you've got a recipe for success. Now remember too, this is still all speculation, as I mentioned, that this will be favorable to Palantir, and as noted with the complexity of policies and how the levers can affect other priorities for not only Vance, but in relation to the whole administration for Trump when they probably take office, in my opinion, later on. And we can't forget, Palantir has already been successful in their US government business regardless of the administration and the side. So we're just hoping that this can be that little bit of juice that might move those jumbo contracts along, or have people who actually understand Palantir get to judge if they're right for the job and win contracts. And we know, regardless, Palantir will do their best to serve and bring real value to the US government as part of their mission. But what are your thoughts below? And I'll see you in the next video.